Hello everybody, Jamie the Board Game Man. Today we're looking at Flamme Rouge. It is a 2 to 4 player game, and you have a set of 2 bicyclists that you're in charge of, trying to race your way through the city to the end of the racetrack. The first person to do so wins the game, and how you do that is you have cards that you use, depending whether you use your sprinter or the roulette. So let's head on down to the gaming table, where I'm going to show you how to play Flamme Rouge. Here we are at the gaming table with Flamme Rouge. Let's take a look. Alright, so here are your components of the game. What you're going to have, you're going to have all these, you'll see the obstacle here are puzzle pieces. So you can put them in any kind of shape, and they're double-sided. And what's nice is they have these little stage cards that give you an idea of all sorts of different kind of racetracks you can do in your game. This game comes with 6 different ones. One of them is kind of a waste. One of them is just pretty much just basic, where there's no hills, no downhill, nothing. I think it's this one here. It's just pretty much straightaways. I don't know if we really want to do this one. They say this is a good first-time game to do this one, but it's kind of, it's kind of a waste. I would just go ahead and dive right in and do the downhills and the uphills and all that stuff, because it does make the game a little more interesting and a lot more fun. So what I decided to do is I went ahead and I chose this racetrack here. I have no idea how to pronounce that. Lautapelit. I have no idea. Not even going to try. But you can see I put this all together, and it gives you the letters here. They're uppercase and lowercase. The lowercase are usually the straightaways, and pretty much you're going level. Or the uppercase are the ones that you're going to have either the hills or the downhill slopes, as you'll see there. And you'll see the letters are right here on the track. So as you're putting it together, you'll be able to say, okay, that's small, lowercase a, lowercase b, and so on. So that's the track I decided to use. You're going to have all these pieces, and I did use every piece that was in there, which is great. You also have this great instruction booklet right here that comes with it. You also have 4 player boards, each with a different color. You can see here you got your blue, red, green, and black. You also have your reference cards right here that tells you what you do through all 3 phases of the game. You also have your exhaustion cards here. You also have your sprinter and your relay cards. And of course, you got to have the cyclists, which come in this little plastic case right here. And each player is going to have 2 of these. Each player is going to have a sprinter and a relay, which I'll go over right now. And that's pretty much it. Now, what's great is if you go on BGG, which I did, a lot of people have put other tracks that you could put on there. So right here I actually have 20 different tracks that people put together that you can use for this game that are not in this game. This one comes with a 6. I actually found 20 more, 2 pages, 10 each, of different tracks you can put together. So that's something you can do. Let's go on BGG. I guess should that way. There we go. And yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of different tracks you can do in this game. So it's never the same way twice. That's what's cool about this game. There's so many different ways you can build these tracks, and because it's not on oval, it's not like a NASCAR track where it's oval to start and finish. I mean, it's you start here, you finish wherever the track ends, and that's what makes it great. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get this set up as a 3-player game. So let's go ahead and give me a quick second here. I'll get this set up for a 3-player, and I'll show you how to play. All right, everybody, I have it set up for a 3-player game, and I went with the blue, red, and green players. Every player is going to go ahead and, of course, get their reference card. It goes over all 3 phases during the race. And what you're also going to do is you're going to have, each player is going to have their sprinter and relay cards. Now, you can tell the tops are exactly the same. So how do you go, well, how do you know which ones are red, blue, and green? Okay. What you do is when you put these cards face up, you'll see the color of their shirt. The color of the shirt matches the player card. So that's how you're going to know that all the sprinters, like in this case, all the blues will go with the blue, and then you go with the relay here. And you can see they're all blue as well. So that's how you know. Now, how do you know each one of the cards is which? Well, you look at the back part of your reference card. And the sprinter, you can see it has 3 2s, 3 3s, 3 4s, and so on, which, of course, these numbers correspond to how many spaces on the racetrack you go. And you can see the sprinter has a little height. They have 2, 3, 4, 5, and 9. And then the relay has 3 through 7. So you can see he has 3 9s in there because, obviously, he's a sprinter. He's going to go a little faster at times. But that's how you know how many you have of each number in your deck. Okay, you just flip it over and that kind of gives you a ballpark, or not a ballpark, but exactly how many cards you have in each number. Okay, so that's how you know. Okay, you just kind of look at face up. See, these are all red shirts and so on. So that's how you know each one of them. Because when I first opened up, I'm like, how am I supposed to know who's who? And then I'm like, oh, the color of their shirts. Because of all the videos I watched on YouTube, nobody explained that. Not one video that I see they said this is how you determine what colors are what. But anyway, so I thought I want to go, put that out there. You also have your exhaustion cards out here for the sprinters. You see the little S's and the relays for the R's. Okay, those are going to be put to the side, which I'll go over in a few moments here. And how you choose the first player? Well, you choose the first player by whoever has ridden a bike last. So if you rode a bike last, well, you get to start the game. And of course, if I can't even tell you the last time I rode a bike, but let's just say I rode a bike last, so I get to go first. Okay? So what happens here is, let's go ahead and, let's do this. Let's go through the card. 3 phases, you got your energy phase, you got your movement phase, and then you got your end phase. First thing you're going to do is all players are going to do this simultaneously, of course. You're going to choose which rider you want to look at first and determine how many spaces you want that rider to go. So I'm going to go and say, okay, I'm going to go ahead and do my sprinter first. Now, like I said, everyone's doing this simultaneously. Now, I can be doing my sprinter while someone else can be doing a relay. Doesn't matter, okay? But before we do that, we got to place our cyclists on the racetrack first. So since I'm first player, red will be second, green will be third. I get to place my rider where I want first. It could be the sprinter or the relay. Let's just say I want my sprinter, I want him right here, okay? Red's going to go ahead and say, okay, I want my sprinter right here. Green says, okay, I'm going to go with my relay. I'm going to go my relay right here. And when it goes back to me, I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to put mine right back here. Red goes, okay, I'm going to put mine here. Then green says, okay, I'm going to put my sprinter back here. Okay? That's the first thing you do. You just take your turns, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and you have both cyclists out there. Obviously, what you're trying to do in this game is you're trying to get one of those cyclists past that finish line first to win the game. That is how you're trying to win the game. Now, if more than one player goes across that finish line at the same time, obviously, whoever's furthest past that finish line wins the game, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and start the game here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to choose a rider and draw cards. So I'm going to say I'm going to go with my sprinter. I'm going to draw the top 4 cards in the deck. Take my sprinters, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Place these back. I'm going to look at these and say, okay, I got a 5, 2, 3, and 2. How many spaces do I want my sprinter to start off with? Let's just say I'm going to choose a 5, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these 3 cards that I did not use, okay? I'm going to recycle these. I'm going to put them face up on the bottom of my deck, like so, okay? I'm going to place it right here. I'm going to place this card that I'm choosing to play face down so no one sees that. Okay, that's how you do that, okay? Then, next player, let's see, he does his relay. He's going to go ahead and does his first 4. We're going to take a peek and say, okay, wow, 7, 7, 6, 6. Geez Louise. He's going to go with a 6 here. So he's going to go ahead and place his face down. He's going to put these face up under his deck. Same thing with the sprinter over here. He chooses to do a sprinter first. He's going to choose the top 4. He's just go ahead and choose a card here. Place it face down, and then place these face up underneath. Okay? And then you're going to do the same thing with your other rider. Okay? I'm going to go ahead. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. Excuse me. Look at these. I'm going to go 4. Okay, I'm going to place these face up under here. Okay, this guy didn't do a sprinter the first time, so he didn't do a sprinter this time. Look at the 4 cards. He decides, okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go all out. And he's going to put these like so. And he's going to do his relays. He's going to do the top 4. Okay. He's going to choose a card, put it face down, and put the face up underneath his deck. That's called recycling. Okay, so now all 3 players have a sprinter and a relay ready to rock and roll. Okay, so that took care of the choose rider, draw cards. Now we're going to play and recycle. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead. I'm the first player. First player is going to be right here on the right-hand side. The start is the sprinter, the blue sprinter. I'm going to go ahead and flip over this card. It is a blue 5. So I'm going to move 5 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can see there's 2 spaces per row. So obviously if someone comes up next to me, then obviously they can go right here. All right, that's as far as they can go. Unless they go, you can go through other riders. Okay, you can do that. But if you end up in the same space as me, you'd be next to me. Obviously you can't have 2 riders in the same spot. Okay? And I would be considered still in the lead if that was the case, because whoever's on the farthest right. Now, if you see here, this player, I'll show you that in a second. Then we'll go to the red sprinter now. Now this card is now out of the game completely. Okay? This is gone. Once you play a card, it is no longer recycled. You might as well throw it back in the box. It's out of here. So this card is now gone. No longer in the game. It is out. Okay, so now the next player is going to be in the front to the left. Here is the sprinter on the red team. Sprinter on the right decided to go 9. He's going all out. Okay, so he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then what you do on your 9th is you go ahead and automatically move to the right. That does not cost you anything. You just go to the right. Okay, that's something you just automatically do. This card is now out of the game. Okay, you can no longer use a 9 unless he has those other 9s in the deck. Okay, now the next one's going to be the red as well. Red relay. So he's going to go ahead and move his next. He's moving 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, he can't land on top of me here, so he has to go next to me. Okay, so that's where he lands. And this card is gone. Out of the game. Next player is going to be the one on the left-hand side, the green relay. Let's see how far he's going to go. He is going 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's cool there. He's going to go and slide in right behind me to the right. And now this card is gone. Next player is going to be the green sprinter. Okay, green sprinter. We're going to take a look at his card. He's got a 3. Not going too far on that one. 1, 2, 3. All right, that card's gone. And then finally, my blue relay. He is going 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'll move to the right. Okay. All right, so now we've used all of our cards. Okay. So we did the choose rider, draw cards, play and recycle, repeat. Energy phase is now complete. The movement phase, we went ahead and revealed all the energy cards and moved all the riders forward. So now the movement phase, that was the movement phase, is now complete. Now we're doing the end phase. We're going to remove played cards, which I already did. I guess I jumped the gun on that. Sorry. Next one is apply slipstream. Now let's go ahead and talk about what slipstream is. It's kind of like NASCAR. You know, NASCAR when you're drafting and all that stuff. When you're slipstreaming, which means you're kind of coasting behind another player and you're saving energy. So what you're going to do, this is a perfect setup, by the way. I didn't even mean to do this, and I love the way it's set up here. You're going to look at the different packs starting from the back. Okay, here's the backpack. You got 2 bikers right next to each other. That's called a pack. This is called a pack. So you got 2 packs back here. Okay. When you look at the backpack, is there only 1 space between them and the next pack forward? Yes, there is. So these guys get to move up 1 space behind them. Now we have 1 huge pack right here. Is this huge pack 1 space behind the next rider? No, they're not. So that stays the way it is. Now let's just say, for example, this was here. Then yes, that whole group would move up. These 2 would move up here and move up, up, and up. That's what would happen if that was the case. That did not happen in this case. Okay, this guy's way up here. Okay, so that's what the apply slipstream is what it means. Is you're going to look at each pack. Is it 1 space behind that pack in front of them? Yes or no. If it is, you move them. If not, they stay where they're at. And that's what's happening right here. They're staying where they're at because there's 2 spaces. Okay. The last one is assign exhaustion cards. That's when these cards come into play. You can see there's some for sprinters. It has a little S here. Okay. And then you got the relays, which has a little R on the bottom. And these are automatically 2s. Okay. So, this player here has no one in front of him. So he's got the wind fully in his face. He's getting exhausted. You know, he's getting exhausted. So the red sprinter is going to be assigned an exhaustion card. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. What happens here is you're going to put that red sprinter, you're going to put it right on their face up. Boom. Okay. Now, the next one, this blue sprinter also has the wind in his face. There's no one in front of him, so guess what? He gets a sprinter 2 exhaustion card. Dun, dun, dun. He's going to go face up right under there. Okay? Okay, now, same with the red roulette. He's also going to get hit because there's no one in front of him. Wind's in his face. He gets a 2 exhaustion card. Dun, dun, dun. And he gets it face up underneath the deck. All right? And there you have it. No more exhaustion cards. Now, you can see who got away with all that was the green. They have persons in front of them, each one of them. So neither one. So that green team did not get hit with any exhaustion cards that round. So they came out pretty good there. They didn't get any rotten 2s in there. All right? Okay. So that's what happens there. And then you're going to do it again. You're going to choose the top 4 cards. And you're going to choose one card and do the same thing I just showed you. Until you see the face-up cards show up. So you kind of do 4, 4, 4, up, okay. Then what you'll do is you're going to take whatever cards are left. You're going to take the cards, you're going to shuffle them up. Obviously, you put them all face up like this, or face down, I should say. And then you'll start over again, okay? All right. So, let's go ahead and talk about uphill, okay? Let me go ahead and show you what that uphill looks like. I'll go ahead and take a slice of the road here. And you can see it is red. It has a red outline here, okay? And it has a 5, and it has this little marking which shows that there is no slipstreaming when you're going uphill, obviously. You're all huffing and puffing up a hill. You're not going to be slipstreaming, okay? You're not going to be drafting, okay? The maximum you can go when you're going uphill is a 5, according to this map here, okay? So let's just move the players up ahead. We're going to go to the future here. And let's see. Let's see, some guys are going to be coming around the corner here. Like so. It's a tight match. They're doing pretty well up here. They're coming right around the corner. Now, the curves do not do anything in this game, so I want to let you know about that. The curves don't do anything, okay? It's not like the Formula Day and all those other games where you got to go slower around the corners. That has nothing to do, because the turns have nothing to do, or the curves have nothing to do in this game. You don't have to worry about those. Okay, so now, we're now hitting the uphill slope up here. So now what we got to do is if you start your turn on a red area, the maximum you can go is 5. So obviously, you don't want to use a 6, 7, 8, or 9 here. I think there's 6, 7, and 9s. I don't think there's any 8s. You don't want to use those cards because you're wasting them because the highest you can go is a 5. Okay? So if you start your turn on a red, you got to abide by the rules and go no faster than 5. Once you clear this, let's just say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Obviously, he's still on the red. So you still have to abide by the rules of the 5 and no slipstreams. Once you land outside the red and you land on this blue area, which I will show you, I'll take a piece of the road here. You can see right here, it starts off red, but then it turns into blue, which means all of a sudden you made it at the crest and now you're coming down. 5 is the minimum you can go. Okay? So you can use that to your advantage. Let's put the road back together here. Okay, all right, there we go. Okay, so once you hit this blue area, if you start your turn on the blue area, I should say, then you can play a 2, 3, or 4, and you'll still move 5 spaces. So that's a good time to get rid of those smaller cards, all right? Especially those exhaustion cards. If you bring up 4 cards and one of them is an exhaustion card, let's see here. I think I might want to use that because I'll still move 5 spaces. So keep that in mind. That's a good time to use those exhaustion cards if you hit this blue area. All right. Okay, so that's pretty much how you do the hills. If you land, once you land inside the hill there, the uphill, okay, the maximum you can go is 5. Okay, and there's no slipstreaming. So there's no, now once you come down the blue area, slipstreaming is back in play. Okay, so even if you're in the blue area, you can still slipstream. It still has that 1 space rule, all that good stuff. And that's the rules for those, okay? And then, of course, like I said, you're going to make it around now. You got another uphill here. This course is a little strenuous here. My goodness, because this one, it's all the way practically to the finish line. So that's going to be a little huffing and puffing towards the end. That's going to be a lot of struggles using your cards. You can only go a maximum of 5 there. So, yeah, that's pretty crazy. That is really, really crazy. But that's pretty much how you play the game. You're going to continually do that until you cross the finish line. All these cards do allow you to finish the race. You will never not finish it. Okay, if you look at all the cards and you count them all up, it gives you just enough so you can cross that finish line. Okay. And that, my friends, is Flamme Rouge. So let's head on up to the game room, and I'll give you my final thoughts. All right, so my final thoughts on Flamme Rouge. This is a fantastic game. Fantastic. Especially when you include the hills, and then you got the downhill. I mean, it's really, really great. The number one track, I mean, all it really is going around the track. There's nothing much to it. The curves have nothing to do with this thing in this game, and curves don't do anything. Like Formula Day or one of those when you have to kind of slow down to go around the turns. Well, this one you don't. Nothing to do with the turns whatsoever. But those uphills are very, very pivotal. You got to know when those uphills are. You got to know when you start going downhill, what cards to use. Obviously, you can't, when you're in that rut where you're in that uphill battle, you can't go any more than 5, where you don't want to waste a 7 or 8 card or 6. And probably not even a 5 card on that, because you can't go any more than that. So that's a good time to break out those exhaustion cards. But then again, you don't want to get stuck too long in that uphill, because then every time you start that turn in that uphill area, you're still obligated to not go faster than 5. So it kind of depends on you and how you're all set up and all that. The slipstreams, great idea. I mean, it's just like drafting. I mean, it's a beautiful idea. I absolutely love it. I love, obviously, going uphill. It's not going to go into factor, because obviously going uphill, you're not really coasting behind anybody, so that makes total sense. I do like that they have an expansion Peloton, and Peloton adds cobblestone to the works as well, so you can actually have cobblestone streets as well. So I'm definitely looking into getting that. And then you got Mateo. I don't know how you say it. Mateo. I'm not sure how you say it, but anyway. And that's the second expansion that they have with this game as well. So yeah, I'm definitely going to look into the expansions. And definitely, if you can find this game, get it. It is fantastic. You can see in the tutorial, it is wonderful. It's really card management. Because the one thing about this game is, as soon as you use that card, it's out of the game. It's done. So those high numbers, you want to make sure, okay, am I far behind that I really need to sprint forward? Or do I really want to save it to the end? Well, it really depends on where you are in the game. And what I like about this game, too, is you don't always want to be in first place. You don't always be up ahead, because then you're going to get those exhaustion cards, those 2, 2, 2. And those will add up if you're always in first place. You always want to draft in there and try to slipstream right behind the leader. That way it doesn't cost you, or it doesn't add a 2 card to your arsenal there, so to your hand. So I love it. There's a lot of strategy involved in this game. I love it. You're going for position, and it really depends on where you are. I mean, if you're on the right lane, then obviously you have that first position, and so on. So you always want to slip into the right any chance you get. And of course, unless you land on a space that's right next to somebody already, well, then you got stuck on that outside, and then you're both stuck with having a 2 card coming into your possession. So definitely get the game if you get it. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed the review. And as always, happy gaming.